There's a comfortable lie that our culture sells every day. Just want it badly enough to get it. Dream, desire, visualize, and the universe will conspire in your favor. It's a seductive narrative, but it's also one of the greatest sources of frustration in modern life. The raw truth is this: wanting isn't enough to have. Never was, never will be. Today we're going to dissect this dangerous illusion and reveal what really separates those who have from those who merely want. Look around you. How many people do you know who want to lose weight? They all start diets on Monday. How many actually lost weight and kept it off? Very few. How many want to be rich? Most dream about it. How many are actually building real wealth? A tiny minority. How many want healthy relationships, successful careers, a better life? Practically everyone. How many have these things? The statistics are brutal. If wanting were enough, the world would be a very different place. The problem isn't in the intensity of desire. There are people who want something so badly it physically hurts. The problem lies in the confusion between wanting and deserving. And here's the first uncomfortable truth. You only have what you're capable of maintaining. Imagine someone gave you today exactly everything you want. The perfect body, the money you desire, the dream relationship, the ideal career. What would happen? If you were honest, you'd know the answer. Within months or years, you'd lose it all. Why? Because you haven't developed the internal capacity necessary to sustain those achievements. The man who wins the lottery and loses everything in 2 years didn't lose by bad luck. He lost because he had a poor person's mentality with a rich person's bank account. The person who lands their dream job but gets fired in 6 months wasn't a victim of injustice. They didn't have the competencies to maintain themselves at that level. You can only maintain what you've become capable of maintaining. This is the cruel geometry of life. There's an abyss between who you are and who you need to be to have what you want. And that abyss isn't crossed with desire. It's crossed with transformation. The second uncomfortable truth. Every external achievement requires a corresponding internal version. Want to be rich? You need to develop the mentality, habits, and competencies of a rich person. It's not about investment techniques or business opportunities. It's about who you become in the process. Want a healthy relationship? You need to become someone capable of sustaining a healthy relationship. This means working on your insecurities, your communication, your capacity for emotional intimacy. Want a fit body? You need to become the type of person who naturally takes care of their body, not through temporary willpower, but through a reformulated identity. External achievement is always the reflection of internal transformation. And here's the third truth nobody wants to hear. Real transformation is uncomfortable, slow, and invisible. Wanting is immediate. It's pleasurable. It's a dopamine hit that makes you feel good instantly. Transforming yourself is the opposite. It's slow, it's tedious, it's imperceptible day to day. That's why most people prefer to keep wanting rather than start transforming. It's easier to dream about the ideal body than wake up at 5 a.m. to train every day. It's more enjoyable to fantasize about wealth than study finances and give up unnecessary expenses. It's more comfortable to imagine the perfect relationship than face your own destructive patterns. Wanting keeps you in the psychological comfort zone. Transforming forces you out of it. But there's an even deeper truth behind all of this. You already know exactly what you need to do. The overweight man knows he needs to eat less and move more. The indebted person knows they need to spend less and earn more. The lonely person knows they need to leave home and connect with people. The problem was never lack of information. It was lack of transformation. Because knowing what to do and being capable of doing it are completely different things. And that capacity only develops through a process nobody wants to face: becoming a different person. So how do you make this transition from wanting to having? First, stop romanticizing desire. Wanting something doesn't make you special. Billions of people want the same things you do. What would make you special is developing yourself to achieve those things. Second, identify who you need to become. For everything you want, there's a version of you that would naturally have that thing. How does that person think? How do they act? What habits do they have? What competencies have they developed? Third, accept that transformation comes before achievement. You don't get rich and then develop a rich person's mentality. You develop a rich person's mentality and then get rich. You don't achieve the ideal relationship and then become a loving person. You become a loving person and then attract healthy relationships. Fourth, focus on the process, not the results. Results are consequences of who you become. If you become the right person, the right results appear naturally. Fifth, understand this takes time. A lot of time. Society sells you the illusion of quick transformation, but reality is that deep changes take years to consolidate. The hardest truth of all is that most people will never take this journey. They'll continue wanting the same things for the next 10, 20 years without ever being willing to pay the price of necessary transformation. They'll keep buying courses on how to get rich without developing financial discipline. They'll keep trying miracle diets without becoming people who naturally care for their health. They'll keep looking for the love of their life without working on their own emotional patterns. And at the end of life, they'll look back and wonder why they never managed to have what they wanted so much. The answer will be simple. Because they confused wanting with deserving, desire with capacity, dream with reality. Because they believed the lie that wanting was enough. It's not. Wanting is just the starting point. What determines whether you'll have what you want is who you become in the process of pursuing it. The question isn't what you want, it's who are you willing to become to have what you want. Because in the end, life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you've capacitated yourself for. And here's the cruelest paradox of all. When you finally become the person capable of having something, you often discover you no longer need that thing in the same desperate way you needed it before. The man who develops the mentality and habits necessary to be rich will discover his relationship with money has changed completely. He no longer desires it with the same anxiety. The woman who becomes truly loving and emotionally mature will attract healthy relationships but won't have the desperate neediness she had when she was alone. This happens because the process of transforming yourself to get something transforms you into a person who no longer desperately needs that something to feel complete. It's as if life were constant test. It only gives you what you demonstrate you don't need to define your worth. And perhaps that's exactly what makes the journey valuable. It's not the destination that transforms you. It's the path. It's not having that completes you. It's becoming someone capable of having. That's why so many people who finally achieve what they always wanted feel a strange emptiness. They expected the achievement to transform them, but they discover it's the opposite. Transformation generates achievement. What you really want isn't to have certain things. It's to become the type of person who naturally has those things. And that person, when you finally become them, might have completely different priorities from those you have today. Life is ironic like that. It forces you to grow to get what you want, and in the process of growing, you discover you wanted other things.